I would have went over there because I mean I don't mind that, but it's just so many people are blocked, and it's like hard to unblock all those people, you know?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I'm not very good with like I could do that without clicking out of my live, correct?
Sometimes it depends on how long ago you block them. So sometimes it's not that simple. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you have to get like there's sometimes where I have to get out of my live, but it'll still be going. And like I log back into TikTok, unblock people, and come back to my live, and it's still on. But it's like it's just really overly complicated that way.
Yeah, I know, especially because you want to know what? Like, I actually refuse to. I like the older version of the app, so I was actually not updating it for a while, and then like it would let me. I was trying to update my payment information because I got a new card, and it said I couldn't do it without updating it. When I updated it, it's like it's not even letting me do like text posts anymore. Like they updated it and made it worse. I'm just like, wow, this kind of sucks. So it's like,
Yeah. It's a lot harder that
4 months
way.
to do the TikTok. Yeah. But I'm trying to find a way to, let me see. I'm not sure if I have to search them specifically or.
Yeah, I mean, we could just do it this way. I mean, you're not going to lose any numbers or anything. I mean, I have
No,
60.
yeah, that's okay. I mean, yeah, that's fine with me. I mean,
Let me see.
like message me afterwards and let me know who I blocked.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
block
if they want to be unblocked, sure. So yeah, if you've been blocked, just message me and I'll tell them I can get a list for them.
Okay.
But okay, so I know some of your questions off the top of my head. Like I know you said one was that if Nick saved Gypsy from this situation, like why is he not the hero? Okay, so first I want to say that like a lot of people get confused that just because I support Gypsy that means that I don't have empathy for Nick, and that's absolutely not true. I think that both of them are a product of their upbringing, for sure. Like I think that Nick's mental illness, and I'm not talking, okay, let's put autism to the side. I'm talking about his mental illness when it comes to like that dark side of him, like was never like really cared after, or and I don't think that it's actually his mom and dad's fault like maliciously. I think that it's probably a generational thing. You know, mental health has gotten better over time,
Right.
and so back in the 90s or whatever, like it was something that you never talked about. So I don't think that Nick is just unhelpable or whatever you want to say. So okay, this is the reason I don't consider him a hero, because okay, so if Nick was just going to go there and save Gypsy, he would have just gone there, unalived DD, and then left. But for him, this was also, I don't think that he just did it to save Gypsy. I think he did it to fulfill a fantasy. And I'm going to show you what proves it right here by his own words. Using his own words. So I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. I don't like to do that. Okay, so let me see.
I mean, I've never advocated for Nick to just get out tomorrow.
No. I don't think that you've done that either.
Yeah.
I'm just, this, like, to me, this is like the best explanation as to, because a lot of people think that Nick like had to be begged and be to do this, and that's actually not true. Hold on, let me get to it. I'm just going to change my computer to be faster.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think begged would be the word. I think more persuaded. I think.
Or persuaded. No. Okay. Or persuade. Or persuaded.
Right. But no, it just like like when I was reading like the dynamics between Nick and Gypsy, it seemed like over a period of time, like especially Nick receiving the kind of affection that he was having with Gypsy, being I call it love bombing, where like you're just getting the type of attention from a girl that you've never received before. You feel on top of the world. They give you the cloud nine kind of feeling, that butterflies in your stomach thing.
But
it's
on the other but on the other end of that, so was Gypsy. Gypsy was longing for, like, one thing she told. Well, let me send this to my computer real fast. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, so when Gypsy ran away with Dan, well, when she ran away to the hospital, and when she went to Dan's house, so someone at that place, someone at that house, well, so half of them knew Gypsy from the conventions, and some of them didn't. And someone that actually knew Gypsy called this lady named Shelley that knew her mother from the convention. And
Right.
you can learn all of this from Megan Thought Catalog. She's one of the first people to ever blog about this case, and it's very unbiased. She has witness statements from like a lot of people that was around Gypsy and yada yada. Well, anyways, so they called her, and that's when their mom, Dee Dee, met one of the guys there at Walmart, and she actually had a hammer in her hand at Walmart, in which they didn't want to like any confrontation, have any confrontation with her. So they brought her to the house that Gypsy was at, and that's when she took Gypsy. Well, one of the girls there tells Megan that one thing Gypsy told her was that she just wanted to be a normal girl and fall in love. And she said she wishes she would have asked Gypsy more questions. And those people actually reached out to Dee Dee, like, following this incident and told them, why don't you just let Gypsy, like, live a little bit, blah, blah. And Dee Dee blocked all of them. So Gypsy expressed to people that she just wanted to be normal. So I get what you're saying with Nick, with him getting that from her. But that was the same way from Gypsy, from him. Like, one thing Gypsy shared with me that I thought was very interesting was that the reason she fell for Nick so quickly is because he was so different from other guys. Like, Gypsy grew up on fairy tales and fantasy books and stuff like that, and he was very, like, if you hear Nick speak, he's very, like, deep, and he talks about things from the soul and stuff like that, so that's something she thought, like, that's what love looks like, because that's all she knew growing up was from the movies and the books that she read. All right, I'm about to pull up this clip. So I get what you're saying, but I think that Gypsy on the other end was also receiving that same thing that she was desperate for, which was like to be like, a normal, anybody wants to hit their teens in their early 20s is going to, like, it's just a natural thing within us to think about things like even not even just on a sexual perspective, but also just that longing to want to be loved, and by not just your mom, but by a man or a woman, whatever your preference is, So I think that that's the same for both of them.
No, especially like during your, like, I guess you can call them hormonal years, because like, the brain and our hormone, everything doesn't even stop. Like, I think the brain doesn't even have its full development till you're about 25, 26 years old. So,
right. So her wanting that, regardless of being sheltered by her mom or not, it was because a lot of people love to like point out that, oh, she was wanting to be sexual with men. Okay, she was a grown woman and it's a natural part of us to want that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look for my Discord. Where's that? Oh, here we go.
well, the part that bothered me the most was like, it's like the part like about Gypsy in general is the fact that she thinks because she didn't wield the weapon with her hands that somehow it makes her less culpable, when honestly, she, even to her own admission, that it was her idea and her plan. Like, like this is something she planned. So
Right.
that kind of bothered me was like, and I actually have a video. If you want to go watch, you watch this if you want. It's one of my longest videos where I list several examples of people that didn't wield any weapons, that didn't go near the crime scene. I even use Charles Manson as an example.
I think a lot of people got that impression because of what she said on that podcast, which she made a whole video like apologizing for making it seem that way, because Gypsy has, people always say she hasn't taken accountability, but her even reaching out and like volunteering to testify at his trial is showing that she's taken accountability. And when you say that Gypsy planned the whole thing, okay, here's the thing, like I don't see it that way because of this. So Nick, the only way that he would do this, he said, is if he got to choose the method. So he got to choose the method in which he would unalive Dee Dee. That is a huge part of the plan. So yes, absolutely, Gypsy asked him, but Nick and Gypsy both planned this. And there was also points throughout the time, which it was not 2+ years. If you watch his trial, both the defense and the prosecution both say that the first correspondence between them when it came to this was a little over a year. So, and they did not just talk about this every single day. He came with other plans.
It developed over that time. I didn't say like it started exactly.
Well, that's the first time she ever asked him was a little bit over a year. So it wasn't, Wasn't like she was and this is what he said for straight up like this. I'm about to play this for you. This is what I mean by like he took this as yes, he was saving Gypsy, so to speak, but he also took this as an opportunity to fulfill this dark fantasy that he never got the opportunity to fulfill. And he's going to say it himself right here. And he says this in multiple interviews, but I'm gonna play this for you.
No, I think I know what you're about to play.
And then, I ended up finding her when I got there, and I let her know that I was at the door, and to make sure that those doors open. So that's usually, from that point on, well, my director,
Okay, here we go.
because she knew right away that I admitted straight out to the whole thing that I was not going to get involved with this, no matter how much she tried to push me. Was going to have to be a darker side of me of some form that I had never had the opportunity to explore.
It would have to be a darker form of me that I have never got the opportunity to explore. Meaning, like from the first time they had this conversation, he told her, "This can't be me. I'm not going to do it, no matter what. It has to be a darker form of me that hasn't got an opportunity to explore my dark side." That is him literally saying yes the first time he ever asked, not no. That's him saying yes, but not him. It's his dark side saying yes, which Nick.
Right. I understand the.
That's not something that he can't control. There's an instance where he texts Gypsy, like I'll put both of them next to each other. So the Facebook messages with him and his cousin or his friend, one of the two, and then Gypsy. He asks Gypsy, "Is your mom a light sleeper or a heavy sleeper?" And she says, "Is a light sleeper." She's like, "Oh, I'm getting excited." At that same, so he was being Nick with Gypsy. At that same exact time, he was texting his cousin saying like, "Yeah, I'm about to go get Gypsy as Nick." Like literally like the exact minute. So
yeah, I've read all this.
Nick was being, so that's what I'm saying. So Nick was being Nick plus Victor at the same exact time. This was no.
I'm not saying he's innocent. I
never said you said that, but it's important to know this because if he wasn't, this is, I'm explaining to you why he's not the hero. Because he didn't just go
I
there
think hero is the wrong word. But I mean,
he went there to fulfill a fantasy. This was fulfilling for him.
I mean, he made it pretty clear that the main motivation behind this was because he wanted to save his girlfriend. He loved her. He worshipped her. I mean, even when he got to the interrogation, he didn't have any self-preservation whatsoever. He didn't even care about himself. He didn't even care where he ended up. He just wanted to know she was okay. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then Gypsy immediately.
Yeah, because he definitely had an infatuation with him. I mean, what he got from Gypsy was exactly what he was looking for. He told Gypsy, "Before I met you, I was about to go on a BDS, you know what, website and order a chained up Abe sleigh." Okay, that's what he told Gypsy. Yeah, no, you haven't seen that yet because everybody skips over that part of the foil.
Well, I mean, again, like before he was talking with Gypsy, it's like I haven't seen any like evidence that I've seen that he corresponded like this with anybody else.
Yes, he did. Like, there's actual proof of that. There's not only proof of that, but
I think he would have unalived Dee Dee. I
think that if he wouldn't have unalived Dee Dee, he would have probably unalived somebody else, and if not, definitely raped someone. Because that was okay on his computer. Even before he knew Gypsy, there was bookmarks of grape porn all over his computer. That was an obsession of his. It's still an obsession of his, and you can see that through the emails all the way through 2019. Like,
I'd have to look that up because again, but like, you know what I mean. Like,
I have a lot of the.
I'll look it up. That's fine. But again, like, I'm not insinuating that Nick is an innocent.
I don't think you are. I'm explaining but that's the thing. That's what makes him not. So when Gypsy said, like, so say if the point is that this would have been anybody else. Well, I mean, if this would have been somebody else, they probably would have just went to the police, regardless of what Gypsy is afraid of. But because it was Nick and because he has these dark fantasies, that's why, like, Gypsy never felt comfortable asking anybody but him. She's never asked anybody this before, except for him.
But I mean, like, why couldn't she just walk out the door? I mean, her mom was almost bedbound at this time.
No, she wasn't, though. What is almost bedbound?
I mean, and both Gypsy and Nick admitted in interrogation that Gypsy was being kicked out of the house.
I'm glad you mentioned that. No, they mentioned that before. So before the detective came in there and bluffed and said Gypsy told the truth, and then that's when Nick starts confessing. Before that, that's their getaway story. That's their getaway story. That's what doesn't make sense. When I hear people say that.
So Dee Dee was not kicking her out of the house?
No. Why? If that was the case, then she wouldn't need anybody to do this for her, or it would be easy just to leave.
That's one of the things I was having trouble with. I'm like, if she was just going to get kicked out of the house,
so
like,
if you listen to the interrogation, both of them, they both say this when they're still like, Nick only says that before he admits and starts telling the truth of everything that's happened. He says that before because that's a part of their getaway story.
No. Okay, like let's say, like, you know what I mean, like, I don't particularly believe that, but that's just my personal belief.
How would you not believe that if none of this confession included that?
We can agree to disagree. I can see where you're coming from. We're like, okay, that's their getaway story. They kind of aligned with that.
He literally says it's his getaway story. She asks him what was the story, and he tells her that. That's what I'm saying. This isn't me just pulling this out of my ass.
No, like, I understand where you're getting.
I know, but it's like not about a matter of. It's like not an opinion. It's literally a fact. Like if you watch interrogation, he explains the getaway story and he says that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's a fact. Like you have to like. There's things that okay, that can be an opinion. That could be an opinion, but it's literally a fact. If you watch interrogation, he's explaining the getaway story, and he even says. Tell your mom. She even tells him. I mean, he even tells her, "I'm telling my mom you got kicked out." Like, you know, this is what we have to say. Like he's saying, like, I want to know why. Just a second.
Yeah, another thing I have a problem with, Bree, is the fact that she had ample opportunity to tell the investigators and even Rod and Christy that, you know, it's like, Mom or stepmom, Dad, I had to do what I had to do. You know, my mom was making me sit in a wheelchair. I didn't want to anymore. She was making me take medication. Like all the stuff that she was claiming.
I can explain that.
All she kept saying was like, I loved her. She was my best friend. I would have never.
Because anybody, when they're being interrogated, when they're guilty, just like Nick. Nick lied. Nick lied. A lot of people don't realize this. Nick lied until they came in there and said Gypsy, until they bluffed and said Gypsy. We know everything because Gypsy told us, which is when he told the truth. Okay, so Nick lied too up until that moment. So just everybody forgets that part. They like cut off that part of the interrogation.
No, I get what you're saying with that, but I'm talking about like when she was even talking to Rod and Christy, like she never.
Yeah, at that point she still wanted. Yeah, until she spoke to her lawyer, she did not say anything. And not only that, a lot of people say, why didn't she mention abuse? First of all, no guilty person's gonna like go in there and be the first suspect by saying my mom abused me. Second of all, Gypsy did not. A lot of people she was groomed her entire life. A lot of people don't even understand that they're being abused. Gypsy did not understand and it's hard to grasp that because we never lived that life. But Gypsy never understood. She knew that it was different. She knew that something was not right. She knew that like her mom was controlling her, and that's the way. But control is also a form of abuse, which she did mention that in the interrogation.
Right.
And she does say that, but she doesn't know half of these medical conditions are not even true. And then, like as far as her team not having a defense, they didn't have when they first started out. This is before they got medical records. This is before they got any kind of documents. They said that as soon the Munchausen by proxy. People say it comes from Christy. No, it's actually in her medical records. In her medical records in 2007, a doctor literally.
One doctor that was suspicious of Munchausen by proxy.
Not only one doctor, another doctor reported it to DFS. So in 2009, also, the reason DFS went out was under suspicion of Munchausen by proxy. But what mother would, okay, so in the notes where he brings up the fact that there's a strong possibility of Munchausen by proxy, the doctor is stating that like Dee Dee, like she knows that we have told her that Gypsy does not have muscular dystrophy, but she's still telling doctors that, even though she knows for a fact that she doesn't. Also, she's also like one thing that I have green screen for it that I can pull up is Dee Dee always told a different story. So this is really slow.
I have no doubt that Dee Dee was a scam artist and she was a con artist. Absolutely. I think her and Gypsy were in on that together.
Okay, so you think this started when Gypsy was 3.5 months old. You think that Gypsy?
No, I didn't say 3.5 months.
At what point? At what point did it become not grooming, and did it become she's a part of it? Like what? Oh, let me ask you this: what person would want to live a life like that? To go to Disney World, like whoopee.
No offense, but like all the Disney trips and the concerts.
So you think you would have chosen to live that if you got to go to Disney trips?
I mean, apparently. I mean, I don't know. I can't get in her head and see. I mean, there's people that.
No, I'm saying you personally because you're saying that would be enough.
No, I mean, I wouldn't fake an illness for any reason.
Exactly. No, neither would anybody, and nobody would want to do that.
Again, I mean, I don't know where in the timeline this started. Like all I know, like
3.5 months old.
I mean, but also she does have the micro delete.
Okay, and how does that affect her? She has microcephaly. That does not affect her health.
No, the micro deletion, like everything.
No, I know. I'm saying that what comes from the microdeletion, she has so the only way, okay, so this is the thing with the microdeletion. People love to like take the microdeletion, the list of the things that you can have, and say, oh, Gypsy has this, and that. Well, you can't do that because Fancy Maselli, that's the reason that people have medical records. She only released about 350 medical records. Gypsy has between 8,000 and 10,000 medical records. I have had the chance to go through all of those. You haven't, and neither has anyone else except for Fancy Maselli. So people speak on Gypsy's medical history as if they've seen it all. Y'all haven't seen all her medical histories. Y'all haven't seen the way that her mom has lied about all the different things. You haven't seen how
Dee was exaggerating things and trying to ramp up.
No, that's important because you would know that. What does she had from the microdeletion then? There's only two things: strabismus, the thing with the eyes, her eyes,
Right.
and then microcephaly, which is if her head circumference would have been 1 centimeter bigger, she wouldn't even be in that range, which means that it does not affect her at all. So the wheelchair, she didn't need a wheelchair. The feeding tube, she never needed a feeding tube. She never got it until she was 8 years old. Her mom tried to say failure to thrive. You know how rare it is that a child at 8 years old is failure to thrive? But no one wants to believe Gypsy's story because people have been trying to twist it and taking it as their own for so long that she can't even explain like how she was starved or given the bare minimum of food. When she was left with her grandparents, guess what? She ate fine. All of a sudden, her mom's around and she can't eat. She had a feeding tube her entire life. All of a sudden, she goes to prison. She doesn't need it anymore. And then you said a feeding tube wasn't a procedure. It's absolutely a medical procedure. Procedure.
Yeah, but I don't consider it like at surgical level. Like,
what does it matter? I know. Well, when she initially got it put in,
I know, but like when she was talking to Dr. Phil, she was like saying like like it was just like painful medical procedures that she's had done 20, 30 times.
Yeah, because you know what her mom would do? She would wait for it to get infected and bring it to the emergency room. That's what she would do. And if you had all the medical records, you would know that. That's what I'm saying. People have been basing what they want to say off of Gypsy's life that they didn't live.
The last 2 months before Dee Dee was unalived, she was signing her own medical records. Like,
what does that mean? Like, okay, when she
was aware of the treatment she was getting, she could have declined any of those.
You know what else? So a person that's getting beat by their spouse every single day can also, and like I'm talking about people that get beat by their spouse that go to work, leave their house every single day. They can choose to go and get help. But you know what a lot of them don't do? Go and get help. They come right back and get beat all over again. Like, who are we to say what an abuse victim should have done when we never lived that life? That's all she knew her entire life was what her mom told her to do. That's all she knew. Was make mom.
That's what she says, but again, like
that's what she says. We have disproof.
In my opinion, she's got credibility issues with a lot of this stuff. She's contradicted many stories.
Name some contradictions.
I mean, I'll just give you one example. In her documentary, from her own words, she said the pew that she thought was real.
That she corrected on her own.
And then she went to the Kale podcast and said, oh, no. I knew it was a BB pew the whole time. But
she corrected it before that, actually. But she corrected it on her own.
She said in that documentary, I listened to it more than once. Where I
just said she corrected it on her own.
I did. Well, I mean, but like she told it in such a way where she was just like, thank God it wasn't a real one, kind of thing. Like, what I thought, she's like, I just kept firing. Like, she never, like,
yeah, for her, she never wanted to unalive her mom when she did that. She wanted her to be, you definitely leave before you schmurder. You definitely leave before you schmurder. Sybil, I'm so glad that you haven't been in a situation like this, so you wouldn't know really. And actually tell that to the people who have been schmurdered by their abuser. Okay, so go and validate someone else. Tell that to all the women and men who have been unalived by their abuser because they didn't fucking leave. Okay, so we're not going to invalidate people who are literally dead because they didn't leave. Okay, and because they didn't unalive their abuser. And I'm not saying that Gypsy did the right thing. She knows she didn't do the right thing. I know she didn't do the right thing. That's what happened. It's unfortunate, and she has shown more remorse than people love to give her credit for, and you don't have to.
Well, I mean, because she just called. I mean, on the anniversary, she just put that Rapunzel thing up where she basically called her mom an evil woman in that story.
She can't feel like. So she was abused her entire life, kept from living a normal life her entire life. She's allowed to think. And first of all, she said she related to that story. Does that mean every single thing she's an evil? No, it means that she was held back from a normal life, just like Rapunzel. It's comparing it to go and pick every single tiny thing apart about it. But back to the pew pew thing.
I mean, it
She
says
could have went on and just
evil
lied
mind.
about that, but instead she corrected it because I don't know if you know what PTSD is.
I know what it is.
Well, yeah. Well,
I've had friends that came back from combat.
Because
I have combat veteran friends that came back extremely messed up.
right, yeah. And I promise you, guess what? When they tell those stories, they're not. Sometimes they're going to contradict each other. You want to know why? Because it's normal for that to happen. It's not always. Sometimes they will exaggerate things they think, or sometimes they will underplay them, downplay them. Like it's called PTSD. But people don't want But what other because people always say she contradicts so many things. What else beside the pew pew? What else? What other contradictions? Because
I didn't bring a list with me or anything like that. I mean,
I know, but if you speak on this every single day like you do, you should have a list because I can give you.
I mean,
a list
in my videos, there's specific videos I put up of certain contradictions and stuff, and then also even like some of her narratives where it's just like I don't care what the public thinks about this, and then when she was
why should she? What does she owe you or anyone? What does she owe us?
No, but I'm just saying, like, you had at one time she's saying, this is all I need in the world. I don't need to be validated by the public. But then when she's promoting her second season of her show, she's just like, what is it that she said? She's just like, if the public only gave me some grace, then I could become the woman I could become. I'm like, why would you need why is that the public?
Yeah, you know why? You know why? Because Gypsy, like most human beings, she got to do it. She's doing it way later in life. She's finally realizing, and I'm actually proud of her for this, that no, she doesn't need y'all's validation. So yeah, a lot of times she does feel that way. Like most human beings going through, they feel like if you had the whole world constantly down your throat, you would feel like, God, if only these people would let me. But she's finally entering a point in her life where she's starting to finally realize that she doesn't need y'all to validate her. And
have you read any of the recent FOIAs with the prison emails that she was going back and forth with, especially the one about her being a goddess, and then she was writing back to the woman?
You mean her emails? It
was the prison ones where she was.
You ever heard of a pay pig? Have you ever heard of a pay pig?
I've heard of the term, but I haven't been.
It's actually really normal, and you know what? A pay pig, what they call the person who requests money from them, they're called the goddess. It's actually a real thing, and the person they're doing this with, it's weird. I don't understand it, but they want you to demand things. That's what it is. You should look it up. It's called a financial goddess. Look it up. It's a real thing that people who are grown ass adults can do if they want to. Shit, I want to get a pay pig. Any pay pigs out there?
It's just kind of the way it was. I mean, and especially when the money stopped,
and also that wasn't a woman. That wasn't a woman. That was a man, by the way. It does not say women anyway.
Whoever it was and whatever it was. I mean, I don't know, and just
but why does that even matter? What does that have to do with the crime? What does that even matter to anybody?
It's a character thing. It's just
it's a character thing. I promise you, most people in prison are doing that. I dated someone who was in prison. I promise you, most of them in there are doing that. They're getting money from people.
It just kind of seems like the grifting and scamming part of her still kind of
But that's the thing, y'all. The fact that y'all think that a child. Because at one point she was a child. You don't just click. You don't just become at 18 all of a sudden you're a grifter because you're complicit. Just because you're complicit in the abuse that's happening to you doesn't make you less of a victim. And actually, if you go on the Munchausen by proxy website, it actually says that.
I mean, another thing is there's just other aspects but she posted the PO box of saying send me fan mail to you. It's
fan mail is fan mail. You act like that's money. Fan mail is a letter.
No one sends fan mail through the mail anymore. We're in the
actually, she gets a lot of fan mail through the mail.
In my opinion, you don't have to agree with me, Bree, but I know
it's not about agreeing with you. She literally gets letters after letter after letter. She gets tons of letters in the mail. People do absolutely send fan mail. That's not an opinion. That's a fact.
I haven't heard of through the physical. Maybe they do.
Why would she want to
seem to me and then also
someone else checks it.
Right, and then also the Amazon baby wish. It just seems like she's
the lie.
The handouts from the public.
That's a lie. Nobody bought a single thing. You know what somebody did? They actually you can reserve things, so it makes it look like everything's bought, and then you find out the next day that actually nothing's bought, and people actually left horrible notes on that. Gypsy never got a single gift from anybody on that Amazon.
Does Gypsy have any prospects of getting an actual I'm not saying this to be facetious or mean or anything, but
advocacy? She has multiple times, but nobody wanted to acknowledge her for it.
Well, no, I mean, does she have a career route in mind? Is there anything she wants to do?
So let me tell you.
She said social media. Last time I heard anything was she wanted to do social media as her job. which, you know, that's not exactly the
See,
greatest.
if only I wish I knew Gypsy. I really wish I knew Gypsy, even though y'all don't deserve to know her. So here's the thing. So Gypsy was basically in prison her entire life because she lived with her mom, who made her be inside of her asshole like 24/7, and then she went to prison for 8.5 years, and then she got out, and then the world demanded that she become an advocate like the day after she's released, not like give her time to
This is
heal.
stuff that she was saying, though. She was
Yeah,
saying,
okay.
get out.
So
I
want to be a writer. Okay, so does that mean tomorrow I have to be a writer?
And then hold on one sec, Reed. That you
Do I have to
she
be a
put out
writer?
that video where she was pointing out the people that she went to prison with, and like even though she stated she didn't know them very well, she's like saying negative things about people she apparently
Like
didn't.
everybody else does who's going to prison. Have you not seen those videos? They trending. It's a trend. People do that. I know. Only Gypsy gets
I know, but
judged.
that saying you're going to advocate for prison reform and then go on this, just whether it's trendy or not, you know what I mean? It's not a good look to say you advocate for prison reform and then go dunking on the people you were in prison with that you apparently didn't know very well.
If you thought that's what that was, like she was compared to how people. So wait, it was okay for people that are, you know, you have to think Nadatha, Skip. I love you, Skip. I'm just saying you did it too. Both of them are in prison reform. And who did they, especially Nadatha, who have they been judging and critiquing for the last year and a half? Gypsy. What is the difference? You can't, that's double standards. That's being a hypocrite. You can't say one not the other.
But they didn't like. I mean, again, I don't want to go on about Nadatha or Skip.
No, I'm giving you examples because you.
I understand that.
You know, it's true.
You could say other people are doing it too, and like I would condemn them all the same if that's the case.
But you're not.
Like, what do you mean I'm not? I am right now. If that's what they're, if that's what they're doing, like in a hypocritical way, yeah, that's pretty hypocritical. But at the same time, I'm just pointing out the example.
Gypsy can advocate whenever she chooses to, and she's tried multiple times, and everyone shut her down.
I saw her do the thing for Amelia. I think her friend Amelia. And
what about the news interviews? What about the one where she sat there with Fox saying that one thing that she thinks would make a huge difference is that doctors do not have to take like a 1-week course on Munchausen by proxy. She thinks that there should be accredited course where you have to take like a year, like a normal
the media tour stuff she did. The
and you know what? Nobody highlighted that, but guess what? You know what true advocacy is? It starts with a voice. Gypsy's the voice. Okay, she had a huge platform. She went on Fox News and she said that. You know what should have happened? Instead of people highlighting shit from that interview that didn't mean fuck shit, they should have highlighted that, and then maybe, just maybe, you know, other people spreading that awareness and spreading that clip could have got to someone who's on a board, on a medical board.
I'm not denying that there's people that scrutinize every little move she makes, and some of it's
I'm just making a point because people say she's never tried to advocate. I'm just making a point. There was one instance where no one cared to highlight that. Well, guess what? Maybe that would have been able to make a change. Just like people want to invalidate Munchausen by proxy when there's more than enough proof, and experts, the main expert on Munchausen by proxy has said that this is one of the worst cases he has ever seen.
He can't diagnose a deceased person, unfortunately. I think
actually that's incorrect. No, do you know what a diagnosis is? A diagnosis is a medical opinion. So actually, Munchausen, no, because you need the patient. But for Munchausen by proxy, you do know the least important element of a diagnosis of Munchausen by proxy, the perpetrator. Did you know that? You know what's the most important?
This would be the first case in history where, first of all, someone survives the Munchausen by proxy, and also unalives the person that's doing it to them. That would be two huge anomalies.
They survived it, so no other person has ever survived Munchausen by proxy?
No, usually the person that it's being perpetrated.
No, there's many people, but you see, since y'all want to like invalidate her and y'all completely want to act like it doesn't exist, all these people who are survivors, they're being silenced. All these people who are victims are being silenced because, I mean, y'all think that everybody's dead. Just like Gypsy said. Gypsy actually said that. She said that she's not the perfect victim. The perfect victim would be dead. And you just proved exactly what she said. Because actually, there's a woman whose mother was never diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy who actually consults with hospitals on cases that are that they think could possibly be Munchausen by proxy. She speaks at medical conferences. She has written a book, and her mother was never diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy. I mean, you want to know why? Because if their mother's still alive, they have to agree.
For everything that Dee Dee and Gypsy has done, most of the stuff I even saw in that that medicine closet, which had a lock on it, by the way. I think I can speculate and give you the reason why I think that lock was on there. That's irrelevant. Most of that stuff was like very standard medication, especially.
You were listening, like. Do you know, like, I have the list of medication. You know how many medications Gypsy was actually prescribed? Many. Just because you never saw them. And then there was a box under the bed with medicine. Actually, there was a book under the box. This is really interesting. There was a black book underneath the bed, and you know, it had 3 different sets of diagnoses. And you know what that was? One was from Missouri, one for the doctors, one was from Missouri, the friends, and one was for Louisiana. She told all 3 different stories because, you know, the people in Louisiana, the doctors didn't think that Gypsy had cancer anymore. They thought she had cancer when she was 5. But everyone else around her thought she had cancer still.
Again, it's like, and you're welcome to, like, I understand your plight because you're friends with her, and this is the story.
No, this is nothing. What does this have to do with?
I have credibility.
I'm going to stop you right there. What does this have to do with me being friends? You're not going. That's a cop out. I've been advocating for Gypsy before I was a friend.
Friend. I mean, whatever word you want to use for it.
No, because you're not going to say a friend. I've done this because of research. You clearly have not done your research because I'm stating facts and you're just stating. I can show you, like, let me show you all the things that I have. You don't have that. What do you have to pull up? Y'all come on the internet every single day and speak out of your ass without any proof. You don't, you're saying that no one has ever survived. You literally said no one has ever survived Munchausen by proxy. Do you know how fucking
record, I haven't seen usually it's toddlers and,
yeah, usually, but that's why it's important. That's why when Gypsy came out, it was important not to invalidate her because this needs to be something that's spoken about more because you know what it happens to elderly
There's
people?
never been like a real actual survivor of the Munchausen.
Yes, there has been. You know Eminem? Do you know Eminem? You know the rapper? His mother had Munchausen by proxy. Did you know that? I shouldn't know that.
Yeah, the woman that would have been the perpetrator, not the one being perpetrated on. But the perpetrator, the person with Munchausen by proxy, is putting it onto a child. I'm talking about the child.
You said there's no survivor of Munchausen, meaning no victim.
They're not the person that's perpetrating, the person they're perpetrating it on.
No, you said a toddler. You said toddlers just now. You just said usually they're a toddler and they die.
Yeah,
they die.
The ones that like the Lacey.
The ones that get spoken about.
Lacey Spears. Lacey Spears is a case.
Yeah, those are big cases that get spoken about. There are many people who don't have a voice out there because they're older, and people like. I'm just going to say it. People like you and other people on the internet saying shit like this doesn't help them. That's why people think I do this just for Gypsy. I don't do this just for Gypsy. I saw Gypsy as a human being who was being invalidated after I saw so much proof. And then once I got to know her and I got a chance to look through all her medical records, not just 300 pages of it like y'all have, but every single one of them, I was able to see even more proof that her mother absolutely was, and people want to say, oh, it was malingering. Do you know that it doesn't matter what you use your child for, whether it's for attention, money, rugs, whatever, it's still abuse? Like the whole malingering or Munchausen by proxy is a ridiculous argument because it's all abuse. And anyone who can say that Gypsy was abused up until she was 18, then all of a sudden she was complicit is wild. You know what else?
I say self-aware. I say when she's self-aware of what's going on. You know, like
okay, she could be self-aware before that. How do you become okay? So what you're saying is people that get groomed once they become 18, they're.
I can say a specific number. I'm talking about like
what age? At what age do you do? At what age is there abuse? Because that's what grooming is.
At what age? When you know between the difference between right and wrong, and whether that situation you're in is right or wrong. And keep in mind, she had access to.
Do you know what grooming?
She had access to the phone. She had access to friends. She had access. She had
to friends. What friends? You mean Aaliyah? You mean Aaliyah that she never got?
I'm not talking about just physical friends, but she had access to the internet and to the.
Okay. So do people who get beat by their spouse every single day.
Yeah, you keep comparing to this, but it's just like I'm talking about Gypsy's specific case.
No, well, you have to compare it that way because Gypsy is not the only person in the world who's been abused or abused.
I never said she was, and
right. So that's why if you can ask her that, why aren't you asking any other victim that? Some people are too scared. Some people, fear is a muzzle.
The fact that she's even again, a lot of this is based on her words and her words only.
No, it's not. That's what y'all think. How is it based on words? I can show you medical records where doctors are literally.
I mean, you can disagree with me, Bree, but
no, this isn't about it. Okay, this is what y'all don't understand. If y'all are fooling with someone's real life, this isn't about a disagreement. You bring up a fact. I can bring up a document where it literally proves that she's abused. You can't do that. You can't bring up a document that proves that she's not.
I mean, again, it's like we can't.
It's not a matter of an opinion. It's not.
Where everything, most of what you're bringing up is based off of Gypsy said. You know what I mean?
No, wait, when did I ever say Gypsy said ever during this conversation?
Well, the narratives are coming from her. I mean, who else are they?
So wait a minute. So even though I was speaking on this before before I even knew her, the narratives are coming from her. That is such. Like,
who else is gonna?
You know what your narrative's coming from? Fancy. That's where it started from. Did you know that? You might have never heard it from Fancy, but that's where your narrative came from.
Which narrative?
Which narrative? Oh, the one that the micro deletion is the reason for everything, even though it's not, or the fact that her mother
It's not just fancy. Like again, like I've only learned about fancy just like recently.
No, I know. I just said it started from fancy. It doesn't mean you learned it from fancy. All the stuff you're saying is regurgitated by everybody. Show it. Show prove. Okay, I will prove that she was abused. You can tell by the doctor's notes. You can tell by all you have to do to prove that Gypsy was abused is prove one thing. Why would Dee Dee continue to shave? Why would she shave her head? Her
Because
entire
she
life?
wanted to pass her off as somebody that was.
So don't you think that's abusive?
I think they were both. I think that's being a con woman. Absolutely.
So wait a minute. So when Gypsy was 10 years old and getting her head shaved, 11 years old, 12 years old, Gypsy was in on it also at 12 years old?
If you tell your kid, hey, you'll get a Disney trip if you shave the head. If I was 10 years old, I probably would have done it. Honestly, if you're naive.
So do you think that you would be so okay, that goes back to this. Being complicit, okay, does not mean you're not a victim, for one. For two, Gypsy's mother didn't say do this and you'll get a Disney trip. That's what you know that.
I don't know. I can't talk to Dee Dee again. I can't get two sides of a story.
I hope that you don't treat every single victim of abuse like this. Oh, I don't believe you. I need to get the other side of the story. That's
again, like this is not like a dynamic between a husband and a wife. This is a mom.
No, abuse is abuse. Abuse is abuse. Like what? Actually, it's even. And I don't like to say anything worse. It's a child.
I understand that, but it's like you immediately bring in like other cases to go into comparison. We're talking about
because it's important to do that. Because would you do this? You're not doing this for anything other than because it's a trending topic and it gains you clout. That's the only reason. You would not be talking about this otherwise.
I mean, I question.
Okay,
I question the authenticity of even the abuse narrative, honestly, because I think they were both in on it. I think both her and Mark were in on the.
So when Gypsy's mother, okay, had her in a wheelchair.
There's still behaviors that she shows today that she still.
What behaviors that she shows today that y'all make up because y'all know her so well?
Like I gave the examples, like like posting the PO box and like just
any like. Y'all, if you post a PO box, that means you are.
That's the only way. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but there's.
Well, you should.
Where it's just like. It still exhibits that she's still like in on the cons and the scams and the feel sorry for me angle and also playing with and
she
still
doesn't want people to feel sorry for her.
Getting Ryan involved in this whole it's just like to me it just seems like she makes radical decisions and kind of moves on to
next. You know what as somebody who never ever got to make mistakes and got to learn from them or anything like that, like normal people is going to make she said that herself, that she's made very what's the word? She's very impulsive. She has said that herself.
Yes, she is impulsive. I mean,
she is impulsive.
Already,
like a lot of people.
Aurora was basically born out of adultery, pretty much. Like, and she's going to know that later in life.
She was born out of adultery. Did you know that Ryan and Gypsy did not conceive their child until after they were separated? And guess what? Who the fuck cares? Like, why do you care?
The child's going to care probably when she finds out.
You know how many people in this world is born out of adultery? And guess what? They grow up to be just fine.
It doesn't make it okay just because it happens to other people. Right?
What does that have to do? Are you judging every single person in the world who has their child out of adultery?
I'm just stating a fact that she was born out of adultery.
And I'm stating a fact that you do this for clout, because if not, you would have facts. You're speaking out of your head.
Was she or was she not born out of adultery? Was she divorced from Ryan yet?
What? That does not matter. You were talking about
it does. It does.
Okay, was Dee Dee not abusing her child?
You have a baby with somebody else. That is adultery by textbook definition.
Was Dee Dee abusing her child at 3.5 months old?
I wasn't there. I can't tell you.
Well, it's in the medical. I know, and you know why you'll never know? Because y'all will never have access to all her medical records because you don't fucking deserve access. Like, who are you? Like, that's why y'all are speaking on someone without seeing. Y'all are invalidating a victim of abuse without seeing all of her medical records. Who fucking does that? Y'all use her medical records as an
example. You say it's medical records we've never seen. I mean,
because y'all don't need to see them because it's not your.
Well, then it's kind of hard to just just go at work.
I know. So that's what we're gonna start doing. We're just all gonna start invalidating victims if we can't see all the proof. Like,
I say invalidation. I said
it is invalidation. Y'all don't think that you don't think that you don't. Wait, so are you saying that you don't invalidate Gypsy's abuse?
If it's true, of course I would validate it, but I want to see, again, I have credibility issues with her.
Her mom literally shaved her head her
entire life. She admitted that she's a pathological liar that could lie without a conscience.
No, actually, so glad you brought that up. Actually, what she said, y'all don't ever like to listen to the whole interview. What she said was not that she was a pathological liar. She said that she learned She said, I can lie without, my mom taught me how to lie without a conscience, but I'm changing. I don't want to be like
Regardless
that.
of the wording, I
That's
mean,
what the, no. That's pretty important. That's pretty important because this happened 2.5 years. This happened, this interview was almost 9 years ago. And she said, my mom taught me how to lie without a conscience, but I'm changing. I don't want to be like her. Because you know what? None of us have to be like our past. What do you mean? No, you see, you went off based off of what you hear. You didn't say the whole thing. It makes a big difference when someone's saying, that's like an addict saying, you know, like my mother passed that down to me, but I'm changing. I don't want to be an addict like her. You're going to be like, well, I don't know. I think that you're going to be like,
I don't know. Again,
no, I'm sorry.
I have credibility issues with Gypsy and the stuff you're saying.
Credibility issues that you can't even understand. You can't even
I would like
describe
to see
why.
them. If you have the medical records from 3 months old, I wouldn't mind seeing them to see.
Well, you don't deserve to see them. Why should you see them?
Then that's
Why
fine.
should someone who spends their life every single day
as a blanket?
so how about you listen to
that happens,
experts?
that's horrible. But again, it's like
Why wouldn't you listen to an expert who has seen them all, like the expert of Munchausen by proxy, who has literally seen
one guy. There's one guy that opined that.
No, even her own doctor.
Never seen. There's many others that have.
Even her own doctors that knew her mother and her. Even her own doctors.
He suspected maligning and lingering, and he also.
No, I'm talking about all of the doctors.
He suspected both of them were up to something, and they even have Gypsy alone in a room at one point. So
okay.
Honestly,
wait. So here we go. So do you think that just because an abuse victim is alone in a room, they're going to tell?
She could have.
It's so, I feel so bad. Like the society we live in is so ignorant. You know how many people don't tell because guess what? If nothing happens, guess what? Their abuse is going to get worse because they just told on their abuser. Like, do you not comprehend that? Do you also not comprehend that? Let's see, her entire life she was failed by literally everyone. Her dad, her mother's sisters. Do you know that her mother's sisters literally seen Gypsy like get up, jump on a trampoline, jump on beds, and you know what? They asked Dee Dee, well, we seen Gypsy walk, and you know what Dee Dee told them? And she wrote this in a letter. This come from Dee Dee's sisters. She said, well, that's because she has muscular dystrophy and it's progressive. So that's why. And they didn't want to ask Dee Dee any more questions because they felt like she was going to push further away. She was failed by everyone in her, like literally everyone in her life. When she ran away to Dan's, she was failed by those people. Those people called. They saw her.
Dan Glidewell's friends called because they thought she was a minor.
Okay.
Okay. Had her come pick her up.
She was a minor.
For her in the
they
middle
saw
of the night.
Gypsy stand for the first time, and they saw proof that she wasn't a minor.
Well, she
Yet
also
they called her
flip flopped on that. She said Nick was the first person that she could tell that could walk, but then, but what about Dan Glidewell? He knew she could walk. I mean,
so wait, you see how y'all pick everything apart? How about you?
That is a credibility.
That's important. That's important.
Oh no, never mind. Dan Glidewell. You know, it's like that. That's the problem with this.
Do you know how ridiculous these are? Okay, what about the fact that I just said these people always saw Gypsy in a wheelchair? She went there, told them stories about her mom. She was walking and showed an ID, and they still called her mom. You don't think those people failed her? They saw her walking when they've only known her in a wheelchair. So if you saw somebody who's always been in a wheelchair and they ran away to a house that you're at and they're walking, you're not going to be like, what the fuck? Like, what? You're going to be like, oh no, you might be underage. Let me call your mom, the person who's putting you in a wheelchair. That's pretty fucking crazy.
Well, again, that's kind of most people are, that's why I believe they got away with so much, like, especially from the nonprofits, is because no one's going to sit there and question somebody that has shaved and has the appearance.
Oh, and by the way, Habitat for Humanity is not for disabled people. It's for people who lose their homes in natural.
No, I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the Make-A-Wish.
No, but you said that earlier. I was just correcting you.
Okay, no, I understand the Habitat for Humanity. But I'm talking about
and also Christy and Gypsy never applied for that either.
The ones that, because my brothers went on Make-A-Wish because they had muscular dystrophy. They died. So,
right, and blame Dee Dee for that because Dee Dee did that, not Gypsy. Dee Dee. Dee Dee had to fill out the paperwork, not Gypsy.
Well, I understand she may have filled out the paperwork, but that doesn't necessarily mean Gypsy. I mean, did Gypsy tell her mom, like, Mom, this is wrong to be doing? We shouldn't be doing this?
Wait, so does the children who get abused tell their mom, this is wrong? Why are you doing this? This is fucking wild. You sound ignorant as fuck.
I mean,
sorry, I'm not
I
trying
don't
to
want
be
to get
disrespectful,
into.
the fact that you're
I don't
literally
want to get
saying
into
that
this
a
kind
child.
of a dialogue. You know what I mean?
No, I don't care because I'm not going to sit here and let you say that a child needs to tell their mom when something's wrong.
I mean,
The mother is supposed to know what's wrong.
She was on that trip at 22, 23.
No, actually she wasn't. Another misinformation that you have, her mother paid for that trip that they went to, the last trip they went on. She had one Make-A-Wish.
Her mother didn't work. They had donations. They had,
what?
Her mother didn't work. They had donations. Everything was gifted.
Her mother got, you know how much money her mother received a month from disability and from Rod? Enough to support them.
Yeah, but that's not going to fund like a several-day trip to.
It's not. It's not when you have a house based off of income, which the house wasn't
disability. No.
The house, yeah. If you're getting 2 disability checks plus $2,500 a month, yes, it will. For one. For two, the house wasn't free. She paid a mortgage, very small, based off her income. A lot of people say that wrong. They think they were given the house. No, they weren't. That's also a lie. Misinformation that people love to spread. But her mother, absolutely, she got she got one Make-A-Wish trip, and the other one was a foundation that does similar things to Make-A-Wish. And it's not Make-A-Wish though. It's like another organization that does that too. Every other trip that she's ever gone on at Disney World was funded by her mother. Like, it's called saving up and going.
I mean, it's easy for Gypsy to just say, it's this person's fault. Everything's Nick's fault. Everything's Dee Dee's fault.
When did she say everything was Nick's fault?
Like, you don't think she had anything to do with any of the scenarios that went on, especially the Schmurder?
No, what I think that she had something to do with was the Schmurder of her mother.
Right.
That's what I think she was involved with. Everything else she did with her mother, that's all she did.
I know a lot of people that came from very abused households and did not, go out and have somebody.
Would you like me to mail them a cookie? Like, okay. Gypsy knows that she shouldn't have done that. She also had a very, very evil-minded man in her life that.
Again, it's like she's trying to put this all on Nick. Like,
she still asked him. She still asked him that was wrong.
Nick didn't convince her.
Y'all try to take it all away from Nick. Y'all literally listen. Y'all try to make it seem like, oh my God. So
this was Nick's idea to schmurder the mom and not Gypsy.
No, I never said that. What was his idea? You know that Gypsy literally canceled the plan. She didn't want to do this anymore. But do you know that what he was doing at the same time?
She pull out of the plan.
What?
When did that happen? Because I've seen the text correspondences and.
When did that happen? Would you like me to show you when it happened? Because if you watch Nick's trial, y'all talk about this shit, but don't even watch the trial. In Nick's trial, he talks about that. They talk about that. They show the message. But anyways, you could see in his search history, I can show you. Like, I mean, I don't have to just.
Where she tried to pull out of the plan and he said, no, we're going along with it, or what?
What do you mean? Like, yes, no, not that they're going along with it. She says she changed her mind. So he messaged his cousin. And he's like, Gypsy changed her mind again. She needs to keep to one plan. Like, come on, Gypsy, keep to one plan.
But and she's flip flopping, and he was frustrated about this.
Between murder and not murder, like that's ridiculous. Anyways,
I'm just going by
what you're saying. The important part's coming up. He says, I guess she's just gonna use it as a last resort. I guess. And then, so they meet in Missouri. That doesn't go well. So Gypsy comes up with the idea to send flowers to her mom. Do you know that while he was researching flower places, he was also researching places with cuffs and machetes, but the rural big ones, because that's what he actually wanted. And that's in his search history, by the way. So even though Gypsy had canceled the plan, he was still looking this shit up. And
because they were looking for a method, and
no, that's not why. Like he already.
It had nothing to do with looking for a method of how they were going to carry it out.
Even though he wasn't gonna. So wait a minute. Why, if Gypsy canceled the plan? If Gypsy canceled the plan, why was he the one that was so manipulated that had to be persuaded? Why was he looking this up if it was canceled? It was canceled.
Because he thought that because she convinced him that she was in imminent danger and he had to come to the rescue in so many words. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, my mom is...
really, it was his choice. So really, he wasn't manipulated. He was choosing to do this. Well,
if he is being told by Gypsy...
Even though he told her, I don't want to do this anymore.
This is the only way out.
Even though she said, I don't want to do this anymore.
I didn't see any part where she said she didn't want to do this
anymore. Well, I'll show you. I know. Well, and the fact that you haven't seen this means that you're talking on a case that you don't know everything about.
I saw. I just don't remember it like right offhand. I mean, this is a very.
That's a pretty important detail, but I'll pull it up for you.
I mean, again, I've seen the opposite as well, saying this is the only way this can happen. This is the only way.
Where did you see that? Can you pull that up for me? Because never in correspondence.
Again, I'm kind of fairly new to TikTok.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you won't be able to pull it up.
You know just as much as I do. She says that's the only way we can be together. And
no,
he said,
okay, that's what Nick has said. Remember, we can't just take that word. Where is it at in correspondence?
I take his word more than I take hers.
Why? For what reason? For what reason?
Because he went in there and basically told the truth from the jump, and she lied through.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't tell the truth until they said Gypsy told the truth.
Well, that's basically when the whole thing started. That at first, you know,
no, he was lying until they bluffed.
Well, yeah, once their botched little, you know, story fell apart, he confessed.
No, he did not tell the truth until they came in there and said, "We already know everything." Gypsy told us.
Yeah, that's basically. Well, of course, yeah, they were both lying.
He would tell it then because
when the jig was up, he told everything.
So he didn't basically tell the truth. He didn't until.
They both went in there initially lying to try to, you know, to stick to their story that they went with, and then once they said the jig was up, yeah, that's when they went to.
So he didn't just basically tell the truth then. Well, he told the truth, but he felt like they already knew the truth.
Once it got to that point, like I didn't say he told the truth, like
no, you literally just said he basically went in there and told the truth.
He did. Once he got to the confession part, that was the truth.
No, he didn't tell the truth until they told him they already knew it. So
right, that's when the confession started. Correct.
Exactly. So that means he didn't just go in there and outright tell the truth. That's
when it came down to confessing to the crime and going through the details of the crime.
Because they bluffed.
I'm not talking.
I'm not talking about that. That means that he did not tell the truth until they said they already knew.
Tried to swing that story of like, oh yeah, we were just, you know, whatever they told at first, and then once it came down to we know everything, and you know you have to confess. She told the truth. Now you have to. That's when
which would mean that he didn't do it on his own will. He did it because he thought that they already knew. So he didn't just practically go in there and tell the truth.
That's irrelevant at this point.
That's very relevant. That's very relevant.
We're going back and forth with the same notion. The notion, regardless.
No, it's not.
When it came down to the confession, he told the truth in that confession. I fully believe he did.
Well, no shit, because they told him they already knew the truth.
Well, it doesn't matter how they got it out of him. The point is, once he got
okay, well then Gypsy told the truth too. Gypsy told the truth too. She did. She did. As soon as they said they know everything,
she just threw him under the bus. She did not admit that it was her plan. None of that. I love my mom. She's my best friend. I did not plan this.
As soon as the same thing for Nick. As soon as they told Gypsy that they knew everything, she told the truth.
She did not say she planned it, and she did. She did not tell them once in that interrogation.
Not in the interrogation that you see. To her lawyer. To her lawyer.
I'm talking about the interrogation, not to her lawyer.
No. What I'm talking about, you're not listening because you don't care to listen because you just want to be right and you're wrong and you just don't want to accept it. You're wrong and you don't want to accept it, which is fine. You know what? Let me tell you, I say this all the time. The only way to be right is to accept when you're wrong. By the way,
listen. Bree, she admitted herself that she lied to her own lawyers, let alone the detectives.
That's not what you lied about to her lawyers. You see, another thing you're just taking and going with. Do you know what she was lying to her lawyers about? About still trying to get in touch with Nick through letters. That's what she lied to about her lawyers. Nothing to do with the truth of the. That was 2 years later that she said that.
She admitted on that witness stand that it was her plan. But when did she say that in the interrogation? She never said. She denied.
Right. She didn't say it until they said they knew everything. Just like Nick didn't say it until they told.
In that interrogation, I did not hear her all the way.
That's because they didn't do that to her inside the interrogation.
With Christy and Rod, she said, "I didn't do this. I'm innocent."
That's because they did not do that to her in the interrogation. They didn't bluff with her like they did.
She even BS'd her to Christy and Rod over the phone, saying, "I didn't. The man that did this was arrested for it. And he did it because he wanted me to come live with him."
You're not wanting to listen. Just like Nick didn't tell the truth until they bluffed. Neither did Gypsy. You didn't hear
this. This is way after at that point.
It's not way after. It's the next day.
When she was talking to Rod and Christy on the phone, she even lied to them and said that Nick did this because he wanted me to come live with him. That's what she said to Christy.
I mean, he did do that for that reason also.
He did
it for formal reasons that he did it.
Dee Dee would not be unalived if it weren't for Gypsy telling him.
Actually, Dee Dee wouldn't be unalived if it wasn't for Gypsy meeting a guy like Nick.
So it's his fault that she.
No. You see, first of all, you're not listening to the fact that they both.
I'm listening, but you're basically trying to say it's Nick's fault for listening to Gypsy and granting her wish.
It's both of their fault that Dee Dee is dead. But if Gypsy would have never
I've never
met
said
Nick,
Nick was innocent, 100%. But you know, it's
but
like
you're not
I feel
making
like
him
you're
take
skirting around
accountability
the fact that
for the
Gypsy
fact that he never did this just for Gypsy. He did it because
no, he did this for Gypsy, and that's been. I mean, the whole you could say whatever you want about the whole.
He said that he would
there was
only
this
do
dark
this if he
side
got
there
to
that
grape
whatever.
someone. The only way he would do this if he got to choose the method and if he got to grape her mother. And then when he said, "Oh, let me tell you, Gypsy didn't even. Do you know that Gypsy didn't even want to have sex with him after this murder?"
But they did, and they were in the hotel doing the brownie thing, and I mean,
okay. Adults are allowed to have sex. I'm talking about after the murder of her mother.
He seemed pretty celebratory. She was in that hotel room with him. You know, he's.
I'm not talking about that moment. Let's stick to what I'm saying. In that house, right after the unaliving of her mom, Gypsy did not want to do that. Did you know that?
She did not want to what?
Be fake graped by him.
Okay, yeah, but that was like role playing stuff that they were that they went back and forth. A lot of this was in the context of role play, not all of it.
Because you know that, right?
Aspects of it
where they know that, right?
I need to speak.
So even though Gypsy asked him to stop, it's still role play. So she was supposed to just keep doing it, right?
Keep doing what?
So because Gypsy consented, that means that even after she said no, it was still role play, right?
This is, first of all, when you look at the correspondence of the role play, she brought him into that world. He didn't bring the role play.
Wait, what? Are you fucking crazy?
When was Nick having role playing sessions?
You know nothing about this case, so maybe not speak on it. Don't speak on it because you know nothing about this case. Nick was literally having rape porn on his computer long before Gypsy. For one,
I've seen nothing about this.
Well, maybe you should do research then because you clearly have.
I'm talking about those correspondences between Gypsy and Nick.
Oh yeah, what about this one?
She had role playing with other men before.
Who? Wait, are you talking about Dan?
Oh, that's where she got all the VidCon stuff.
Are you talking about Dan? Do you know that role play? There's nothing. Did you know that there's nothing wrong with role play? There's a difference.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with role playing, but that's the context that most of that talk was in. You're trying to say like
he wanted to rape a dead woman. He wanted to rape a dead woman.
In danger.
He wanted to rape a dead woman. Do you not understand that? What? Make an excuse for that.
The context of all that stuff was out of role play, and then
so he wanted
talking to Victor during all this. That was a Victor conversation.
Wait a minute.
That's what you want to call it.
Do you think that Victor's not Nick?
Victor's a side of Nick. Again,
Victor is absolutely Nick because he has played both people at the same exact time. It is absolutely Nick.
Well, no, he kept saying you have to consult Victor about this, or he
because
said,
it was a fantasy of his.
Sides, and
he literally was having a conversation as Nick and Victor at the same exact time. He knows he is Victor. He is Victor. Come on,
because from what I understood from his perspective, it's like that dark stuff was
from his perspective, of course, he said that.
He was kind of like trying to egg her on.
This is so fucking nuts. And the ignorant people that aren't seeing this, okay, he literally You think that it was role play to say the FOIAs that y'all love to talk about? Do you know that in his appeal in the FOIAs, his defense, not Gypsy's, not the prosecution, not Gypsy's team, his defense said even though he had made a deal with Gypsy to grape her instead because Gypsy begged him not to do that to her mother, do you know that he still thought about it after he finished murdering her and said,
there was not much begging, but she said no, and then he was like, okay.
I know. Even after the fact, you're not listening. Even after the fact, he still thought about doing it, even though he had made a deal with Gypsy.
I mean, that might be what she's telling you, but like,
no. That's not what she told me. That's what Nick's appeal.
But again, like, even after this whole
you're
thing,
not listening to me. She never said this. Nick said this. It's in his fucking appeal. You're like a brick wall. You're not listening, and you're trying to excuse someone from wanting to grape a dead body. You're fucking sick. Sorry.
When did I say Nick was innocent of anything?
You said that's role play. You said that's role play to want to grape a dead body.
But you're trying to you're trying to go with the narrative that he would have done this to Dee Dee, regardless of what Gypsy said. The motivation was a dark side of him, and not because Gypsy told him to do it.
It's in his appeal. They wrote it in the FOIAs that y'all talk about all the time. I know y'all don't ever read them all.
You don't think Nick did this because Gypsy asked him to do it? He did this because this was just some dark fantasy.
I think that he did it because he wanted to be with Gypsy. I think he did it for the reason he said he did it. He was getting an opportunity to explore his dark side. He literally said that.
The reason he said he did it, and he said it very early on, was because she asked him to. That's the only way they could be together. That's exactly.
I never said no. There was two reasons why he did it. And he's
So that was
clearly
like a
says that.
some secondary. Again, I never said that Nick was like, all right.
But no, it doesn't matter. You're literally excusing him from wanting to grape
I'm not
a
excusing.
woman.
I never once said Nick didn't have.
You said that was just role play. You think it's role play to grape
some of it was in that aspect.
No, I'm talking about that specific thing. You think it's role play to
But the
grape
main
a dead
motive
woman.
of this crime, the main motive.
Do you
was
think it's
Gypsy
role play to grape a dead woman?
In that aspect, that's what it looked like to me. I don't know if he was serious. Maybe he was. I don't know.
Well,
I think
did
that's
you
sick.
watch
If he
it?
was,
Because
that's
in
sick.
interrogation, he literally says, "I thought about
that's
it."
one thing, but that's irrelevant to the crime, in my opinion. The crime is
Irrelevant to the crime. That shows how sick in the mind he is. What?
I mean, I never said he was all there. Anyways, I never said he was innocent.
It's so wild that you're just like,
no.
you don't care to understand because you know what? If you understood, you would lose followers.
First of all, if
you
from what
understood,
I
you
said,
would
a
lose
lot of the
followers.
dark stuff that you're talking about was in the form of role play. If he wasn't role playing during that part, it's hard to tell because I'm not Nicholas.
It's hard to tell.
Then,
Here's
yeah,
how you
that's
can
messed
tell
up.
at McDonald's when they saw the kind of corn he was watching. You want to know what he told them? I would never grape someone. That's why I watch it. Do you know that that's a red flag to say that? I would never grape someone. That's why I watch it. And you know what he told Dawn, one of the girl that he talked to after, in 2019? He said that
Nick's character, all we want, and yeah, maybe he's got some like sexual like devious.
that's pretty fucking important.
But I'm talking about like this crime specifically.
Oh my
did
God,
not
this
take
is
place
fucking
just because
crazy.
Nick had a fantasy.
I need a cigarette. This is so fucking crazy. Like that plays such a huge role in it. You know what? You never watched. You must have never read the videos that of Nick's.
Everything that's available, you know what I mean. And there's
No, you
still
haven't.
some
No, you
stories
haven't.
I have to
Nobody
catch up
has.
on. There's
Because
still
Enter the
stories I have
Weeds
to catch
actually
up on.
skipped
But like,
this.
it just seems like you're just trying to put this all on Nick. Like this
No, I'm not. No.
because
What it seems like you're doing is taking this completely from Nick. Is what you're doing.
no, I'm not at all. I never
no,
said he
you
was
are
innocent.
completely.
I never said
Because I
that he
can
didn't
agree
need
that you
help.
did this for
I never
Gypsy
said that he
getting
should be in like
This is
a
fucking nuts.
mental health facility.
But really, you didn't want your questions answered.
What questions?
What questions? The questions that you never got any Gypsy supporter to ever answer. Those questions.
Well, okay. The one question about like why isn't he the hero in this? I mean, so he doesn't get any.
Because the hero went to the police.
You don't think he deserves a break for coming in and basically saving Gypsy's life? By getting them.
No,
on.
I don't think he deserves a break. Didi never did.
But why did Gypsy deserve one and not him?
Because she was abused her whole fucking life.
Yeah, but I know plenty of abuse victims that don't unalive people. I mean, if we're just going to
Yeah, that's right. They don't have to go to jail for 10
then
years.
there's going to be a lot of dead
go to
people.
jail for 8.5 years. That's the difference. That's what Gypsy had to. She still committed a crime, so she had to serve the time.
Just a little. She's the first mastermind of a crime that I've seen not get the worst of the sentences.
Actually, that's a lie.
What other case has it where someone planned the crime in advance, had someone else do it, and they got mitigation?
Google it. I've already had this argument with somebody before. Google it. I mean, literally, in most cases, the person who commits the crime.
I'm not talking about self-defense. I'm not talking about like.
No, I never said that. In most cases, the person who commits the crime gets the most time.
Not necessarily. No.
Did I say all the time?
Well, in the Dan Markel case right now, one of the
did I say all the time? I said in most cases.
People that hired him are all.
I said in most cases.
Yeah, in most cases, usually the
Yeah,
sentences
exactly.
are usually the same for everybody. Usually, this is the first time I've seen a mastermind get the break.
That's crazy. That's the first time because I'm the mastermind. Even though it's the mastermind, but he chose how it would happen and what he got to do. Like he demanded that Gypsy be naked.
Gypsy wanted this done. This is something. This was her wish.
Gypsy wanted her mom alive. She didn't want to have to crawl around the floor naked and get
an
raped.
instructional video.
Gypsy wanted her mom on alive. She didn't want to have to crawl around the ground naked and be raped. That's what she didn't want. But guess what? That's what the fuck happened. Why? Because that was his fantasy.
Well, again, she sent him an instructional video, like hovering over
my fucking God.
Why does that not matter to you?
No shit.
That's not a window into her
that's
mind?
what you think it was. If you would read the video descriptions, you would know that's not what that was.
That wasn't what that was. What was that?
No, maybe if you read the descriptions, none of y'all read shit. Y'all just speak out of your ass because it gets you money, it gets you clout, it gets you views, it gets you clicks. That's why y'all care about this. Y'all do not care about real victims. You literally said that no one else has ever died.
I'm talking about one specific person and one specific topic.
No, you are invalidating abuse victims. I don't even care. You're not listening to anything. It doesn't even matter.
now you're just accusing
every
me like
other
just
content
because
creator
I don't
on this
believe
app is a
your
piece of
narrative
shit.
that suddenly
Y'all
I
do
don't
this for
care about
clicks, likes, and
I can't talk with you like
y'all
that.
do this.
You're gonna do
No,
that.
because I
It's
can't
just the
talk to you because
accusations.
you're not listening. You are like you literally said it was role play to grape a dead person.
I'm listening to what you're saying. I just don't
You
agree
literally
with it.
said it was role play to grape a dead person.
Some of it, I don't. In some context, it could. Listen, I'm not in this.
No, it's never
Maybe
role
it
play to
wasn't.
grape
I
a
don't
dead
know, but regardless, I'm sorry. The crime in and of itself was because Gypsy wanted him to do it. She wanted her mom.
And the
unalive,
reason
and
he
did
took
it.
the opportunity in his things, he even said he hoped that Gypsy would explore this darkness with him. He hoped. He wanted to. Yeah, he said that in his interview. I know you don't ever watch him.
I've seen a lot of the back and forth between the dark stuff, and I'd have to go all again.
Oh, I can play it for you. I can play it for you. I have it all.
Go through every single
I have it all.
who was being dark and who was being dark when, who was being darker at which time. They were both in this dark fantasy world together.
It never said like
and
that. Actually,
they kind of
name a time that Gypsy was
again,
bringing dark to
Gypsy was
him.
celebrating after this all happened. She was not sitting there. Curled up in the
Let me
corner.
guess. Maybe because she wasn't in her abusive home anymore. Maybe you should watch a few videos by a psychiatrist.
I mean, but you're trying to say like Nick basically abused her too and did all these horrible things. I mean, she was having a grand time with him in that hotel room. You know,
she did not want to have sex with him after the crime, but he forced her to.
She
Would you
didn't
like to see the text messages?
Any force. I don't know. Just from.
Would you like to see the text messages? You don't seem to like.
I've seen the text messages. And
okay,
like,
let me prove it to you.
There was something that she said no. It's like I didn't see him. And I would again. I would have to read this from start to finish. I'm not going to cherry pick any of these.
Dear, I should ask you this before. No, oh yeah, that's the one about that. Dear, never underestimate. Yeah, but after
I've seen these.
Well, no, you obviously didn't because
we're not going to cherry pick these and pick a context. Like I'm not doing.
No, that's what y'all do. That's what I'm doing.
No, I read them from.
No, you absolutely do it because you would know that Gypsy did not want to do this.
Did not want to do.
And you know what? Nick lied in his interrogation because he said that the reason they were like, and we had sex after because Gypsy wanted to have sex, so we had sex. That's a fucking lie too. He lied a lot more in his interrogation than y'all thought he did.
But Gypsy's telling you that's a lie. I mean, again,
the text messages tell me it's a lie, sweetheart. Not
anything that the text messages that I've seen, anytime that she had
I'm about to show you
that she didn't want, he's like, okay, you know, it's like, no, I don't want to do that, and he's like, all right, you know, I never saw him like, you know, fighting to do something.
Honey, don't forget that he is ruthless, and the hatred of her will force her to die, hon. Oh yeah, he just absolutely option to finish her mother no matter what. I don't
know if this is Victor talking. I don't know if it's Nicholas. Again,
Victor is Nick, sweetheart. Victor is Nick. Like, what are you not comprehending about that? Victor
it's the role playing the dark side of Nick or whatever.
And
they distinguished they were
Nick.
different
Like
people.
Nick and oh my
Nick
god, this is
distinguished they
fucking
were
nuts.
different people. Gypsy just distinguished all the people she was pretending to be were different people. And
and guess what?
I need to talk to Victor and stuff like that.
Crazy.
So again, when he was talking to Victor, he was talking. And when he was the good side, he was talking.
No, you know, just like Dawn made up characters for him, that's what he wanted them to do, and that's what he has done with many people. But you don't care to learn that. I know you're so like.
I haven't seen anybody else come out about him doing.
Oh, really, Dawn, the woman that all of y'all invalidated, Dawn.
I have questions of the I have questions of the authenticity of those emails.
Oh, really? Do you? Because they came out years ago before you ever were around.
Yes, I have to do more research on those.
Dawn told her story years ago. You're a little late. Dawn told the story. They're real. Dawn told her story years ago, so you're a little late. Hey, don't forget you got to deal with my evil side first before we have our fun. So he may wear you out because if you forgot, it's the most sexual side of me. Dear, to please him, I suggest, well, not that. I know there's a bunch like that. Babe, it's my evil side doing it. Hold on, I'm going to show you the part where she literally tells him. She literally tells him, you know, we have all day tomorrow to do this. And he says, don't forget, you have to deal with my... Babe, there's another option. She's going to finish. But baby, it would be better. Not romantic side. Oh yeah, and then this, you know, y'all want to talk about the whole daddy thing. Baby, it will, and you better not just be the romantic wife of mine, but also my twin flame female daughter, soulmate that you were meant to be. When Gypsy was trying to be like, I hope you love me too, just me, Gypsy, she says. And he says, oh, don't just be my romantic wife, because you know he wants that freaking freakish like constant. That's
What
what
about
he
the
literally.
13-year-old, the 13-year-old email, or I think it was.
Yeah,
Text
that's what I'm just explaining. You could see, you'll never find Gypsy one time speak about a daughter reference throughout the text message. You know who you will find? Nick. You want to know what else you'll find?
But
Him do
Gypsy
it
told
with.
Nick that she was going to offer up their own
Oh my
daughter.
God! Did you not hear what I
13, to
just
Nicholas
said?
when she
You-
started 13.
you see,
I
you
read
would
that.
understand that better if you read this video descriptions of Nick's, but y'all will skip
What is
those.
it? What does the description
It's on my
say?
YouTube. Go look at it on my YouTube. Nobody ever wants to read it. except for me.
I don't know any other context to put them in. She wrote them.
She never wrote anything. This was a
These were
video.
from her word. This is from
No, it was a video.
audit.
See, you literally know nothing. That was a video.
This
That's
was from a forensic audit, Bree. You can sit there and tell me I don't know this. I don't know. It's a
No.
forensic
Okay, the reason
audit.
you read it is because the police that had to summarize those videos. That's a summary of a video. That is not written by her. That's a summary of a
Are the
video.
police lying then? I mean, honestly.
No, you gotta. Okay, just like there was a video with.
What other
Gypsy talking about
context
how
could
she was
we
gonna
possibly
break Nick?
put into that
You're
narrative?
not like I have all this information that you clearly don't have, and you're not listening, so you really don't care to know because you care
I'm
to get
asking
clout.
I'm asking-
You care to
what?
get views and clout, and that's what you care about. Because if you read the video, there's a video where Gypsy describes how she's gonna grape Nick. But guess what? Before that video, there's a video where Nick tells her and demands her to make a video explaining how she would grape him. Like that. These are
She
videos
had similar
he wrote.
fantasies. I read where she had her own great fantasies of her own and stuff that she was
No,
arrested.
okay.
Yeah, there
You're
was. I
based on-
read them myself.
Prove it. Show it and prove it. Prove it.
I can't pull up.
Prove
I'm
it.
not in front of my laptop. I'm on a
Oh, well, I
phone.
can do it. I can do it. I can prove you
You're
wrong.
probably on your laptop. I don't have all the stuff ready.
Exactly. You don't have shit, but I can prove you wrong about
Just like
everything.
Ken, it was like kind of an at the moment thing. I didn't come here with everything that I know. I read this with my own two eyes. It can be looked up.
You ready? You ready for the message that proves she didn't want to? Okay. I can't wait to be with you too, darling. But you know, if you want to wait for a sex, we have all day tomorrow, just so you know. And he says, no, don't forget you have to deal with that side of me before we have our fun. Because she even says, can you take it easy? And he says, not till we get to the hotel. She did not. It's so clear that she did not want to do what they did at that house, and no one gives a fuck about that. What?
I mean, that doesn't sound like much persistence of saying no. That just sounds like, no, I still want to do it. Again, like when the only
He
thing
literally says, we have all the. Oh my God. Do you not understand how oh my God. I pray to God that you never have a daughter that has a guy in her life.
This is
No. I pray that you don't, because if this is how you would act, it's fucking sick in the head. She's supposed to. Like, do you not know
credibility issues? Obviously,
I don't even know why I acknowledge it.
Yes, I would.
I would
infuriating. But I have credibility issues and context.
You can't even name our credibility issues.
I don't need to go through every single lie that
you should want to, because I'm willing to go through everything.
I'm not going through every
because you ain't got shit. That's why.
Listen. I already gave you
because you don't.
from the
Because
gun,
you don't have
from
shit. That's why.
From statements that she's made in her own videos. From
Nick, literally in the trial, they even talked about how Nick sent her scripts. Sent her script.
She never went to school, and then it was kindergarten, and then it was second grade, and then.
Wait, are you fucking kidding me?
I can go on about that all I want.
Remember whether they went to kindergarten or second grade? Or do you even know what PTSD? You don't know what PTSD is. You fucking don't.
Okay, so it's just she's gonna just tell lies and blame it on some.
Do you know that sometimes I forget whether I went to pre-K or not, and I'm like, oh my God, wait, I did.
I know people with PTSD and still know when they went to school.
And okay, just because they know that might. Oh my God, maybe because that's not a part of their PTSD. Like,
what is she? I'm just.
What are you not comprehending?
If she didn't know when she went to school, she was unaware. Why would she say second grade or say something definitive? Why would she just say? You want to know
why? You want to know why? Because that's what her mother told doctors. Her mother told doctors second grade.
She said this about herself. Like I got to go to school.
Because that's what you hear all the time. If you hear your mother's telling doctors,
I heard it from her. This long after her mom is gone. This is not when her mom. She didn't say my mom told me to tell me about her all the way to second grade.
Because that's what she was told her whole fucking life. What are you not comprehending?
So she still thinks. So she's still repeating stuff her mom.
No, she didn't know until she's seen pictures and until people talked to her family members, told her what grade they actually remember her going to and what they have pictures of. She repeated what her mother said.
Stuff like that till years later, until after those interviews and all that other stuff. Or
what are you talking about? She never went from. Oh my God! What do you not? Do you know that there's things
because I'm hearing 3 different answers to the same question from the same person.
How are you getting 3 different answers? The fact that that's
Well,
what
she
you
said
give
he
a
never
fuck
went to
about is
school,
what's
then she
wild
said
to me.
kindergarten, and then
You
she
don't
said
care.
second grade.
You don't care that Nick wanted to grape a dead person, but you
Now
care
you're changing
whether
the subject
Gypsy
again.
remembers
See,
going to
Green,
school.
listen,
You
this
are
is
fucking sick in the head. You're doing this for clout, and I'm done with this conversation because you're actually sick in the head. You literally don't care about Nick wanting to grape a dead person, but you care about Gypsy not remembering she was in second grade. You're fucked in the head. You're fucked in the head. You're fucked in the head. Goodbye. Go get your